Hello and welcome to So Easy Sewing's Granite City Block of the Month Block 9 class. We will gather fabrics 1, 5, 8, 11, and 13. From fabric 1, we will cut 8 2.5-inch squares. Sixteen 2.5-inch half square triangles, four 1.5-inch by 12.5-inch rectangles, and four 1.5-inch by 10.5-inch rectangles. From fabric 5, we will cut 8 2.5-inch squares, and 16 1.5-inch quarter square triangles. Remember, when cutting your quarter square triangles, always cut single layered strips. From fabric 8, we will cut 16 2.5-inch half square triangles. From fabric 11, we will cut 8 2.5-inch squares. And 8 1.5-inch quarter square triangles. From fabric 13, we will cut 2 2.5-inch squares. And lastly, we will cut 8 1.5-inch quarter square triangles. First, we will sew together one unit B triangle and one unit G triangle. This will be unit A. We will press our seams towards our darker fabric or our 9G triangle. Next, we will be making hourglass pieces. We will need two 9F triangles, one 9I triangle, and one 9K triangle. This will be called Unit B. When piecing together both sides of my hourglass, I want to make sure that my seams are pressed in opposite directions so that the seams will nestle against each other. When pressing our seams, we are going to repress our side seams so that they lay flat, and then our center seam we will press open. Next, we want to make sure that our Unit A and Unit B pieces measure 2.5 inches square, and we want to trim all of our tails. Now on to piecing our rows. For our first row, we will need 2 9A pieces, 2 Unit A pieces, and 1 9H piece. For our second row, we will need 2 Unit A pieces, 2 9E pieces, and 1 Unit B piece. Take special care when lining up your pieces that your hourglass piece is at the correct orientation for your row. For our center row, we will need 2 9H pieces, 2 Unit B pieces, and 1 9J piece. Again, you want to pay special attention to the orientation that you lay out your hourglass pieces in. And we will repeat the same steps from rows 1 and 2 for rows 4 and 5. When pressing our seams, we will press them in opposite directions for each row. With the first row, we will press our seams in, then alternate with each following row. As always, with piecing our rows, we will line up our seams, making sure that they press against each other and then pin in place. We want to make sure that when we are sewing our rows, our previous seams lay flat as they move under the presser foot. I found when pressing my block that pressing the seams from row 2 and row 4 both out from the center made it easier to press and that the block laid flatter. You can press your row seams in whichever direction you would like. Now, as always, we will sew on our borders. We will sew 2 9D rectangles to opposite sides of our block. And we will press our border seams out. And for our last two pieces, we will sew 2 9C rectangles to the last two sides of our block to finish our border. And again, we will press those seams out. Congratulations, you've finished your 9th block.